Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl, theafropics.com. Thanks for joining in. Today's discussion is going to be revolving around a film called Mooz-Lum. If you haven't already seen it, please check it out. It's a really good film. Came out in about 11 different screens across the U.S. And yeah, it's a really good film. But basically, it revolves around a young African American Muslim man named Tariq, and he's about to embark on his first year of college during the 9/11 attack. Yeah. But basically, I wanted to discuss the film because it raises several different questions in my mind. And the first question, or the first issue I had with the movie was that, aside from, going off to college and experiencing things like dating, maybe it's your first time, maybe it's not, keeping your head on your shoulders, avoiding, sex, drugs, alcohol, too much partying, you know, the run of the mill issues that all college kids have for their first year. Aside from having to experience that, Tarek uses his first year college experience as a way to shed his Muslim religious identity, because he wants to fit into society a little bit better. And so he uses going off to college as a way to start fresh, be neutral, be religious less, I should say. And it's a really interesting notion. But anyway, it rose several questions in my mind. The first question was it's related to W.E.B. Du Bois. He talks about the double identity in his book called The Souls of Black Folk. That book came out like in 1903. But basically, it's about how, and everybody can attest to this, but like it's about how you might be one way at home, but as soon as you leave out the door, you kind of have to put on another face that is more acceptable towards society. And I see that Tarek, his character in that movie, he had to deal with the double consciousness three times over. His first one was his Muslim religious identity that he held at home. The second identity was that of an African American male, but then the third identity was that an African American male who is Muslim, who is also trying to shed his identity and start a new one. So I thought that was really interesting that the director of the film, he decided to put that in the movie that way. And another idea that came to my mind when I was watching the movie was about how, just the question of does your religious upbringing sometimes does it hinder your ability to interact with people of other faiths, or does our society at large unconsciously, make people of other faiths feel obligated to assimilate into society at large? So I was just curious about that. And another question that came to my mind was, what is identity? Is it your upbringing? Is it the people in your life? Is it your experiences? Is it none of that? Who knows? Do your parents always know what's best for you? Because in the movie, Tariq's father was the leader of the household. It was a strict patriarch household. But every once in a while, his mother would object to, how things were going on with her son. Oh, by the way, if you don't want the movie to be spoiled for you, and I don't want that either, feel free to stop this video. But if you decide to keep watching, yay, I'm happy. So anyway, yeah, there was an instance in the movie where Tariq's mother, who was played by Nia Long, she was objective to how the schoolmaster was chastising and punishing Tariq for leaving the school grounds. Apparently, he was attending a school that was really strict and that believed in corporal punishment, and she objected to it. And so the father, he wanted Tariq to keep on with his school training, but his mother, she was a G. She didn't put up with it. She bussed him out of that school, and I don't blame her. But I guess my question is, aside from do your parents always know what's best? Considering that nothing is new under the sun, and that they have grown up in different times than we have. Aside from all that, what role does a woman play in the Muslim household? And I'm not saying anything. I'm just curious, you know. So anyway, that question had got brought up in the back of my mind, and I think above all, this movie is good because, you know, aside from raising those questions, it really wanted people to just think for themselves. You know, don't lean one way, don't lean the other way, but just have an objective viewpoint. Uh, you know, about the Muslim faith, about, you know, different experiences that might shape your life. And aside from that, I think that one of the few characters, or one of the main characters in the movie, she went on to say, you know, don't let a few people shape your entire view on an entire faith. And I think that was one of the key takeaways with that kind of movie, and that's why I like it so much. So anyway, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts were about the movie. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. Thanks for joining in. Talk to you later. Bye.